Kemper Profiler Tones and Talks, Season 2, Episode 12. Again, we have as a guest Mr. Thomas Dill, looking into the details of legendary guitar tones. And for this episode, here's the video. It's Coldplay. Amazing. Amazing choice. Very interesting guitar part indeed, but to think about Coldplay, I don't think of them as the first kind of band that comes into mind when it's about legendary guitar parts. But here you indeed found some very special thing, and you know all about that. So hit us with the details.
Not really all about. I'm not the doctor that knows everything. It's just some research, and to be honest, it was a request from a user at the forum to make that sound for the Legends Tribute Collection, and this song is often played by top 40 bands, cover bands, for parties, dance stuff, and everything. So this sound is well known by some guitar players, and I think Jonny Buckland, the guitar player of Coldplay, is not that guitar hero guy, but I think he's legendary because he's the guy who supports the song and supports the singer. So it's really very, very tasteful guitar playing. Sometimes you don't really hear that it's guitar because he has some different sounds on the recordings, and some doubled with synth parts, or just under some synth parts where you don't recognize the guitar, but absolutely tasteful guitar player, in my opinion. And just let's start with some song facts for this recording. And the song is Adventure of a Lifetime. The band is Coldplay, as we said, and the composers are Coldplay, the four guys from Coldplay, and the Stargate producer team. The album where the song is on is A Head Full of Dreams, and it was released in 2015. The studios where they record were Hanson, The Village, and Woodshed Recording in USA, and the legendary Air Studio, The Bakery, and The Beehive in UK. I think they are all in London. I said before, the producers are Stargate producer team, and these are Mikkel Storlia Eriksen and Tor Erik Hermansen. I hope I pronounced that right. They are from Norway, and they worked for Rihanna, Beyoncé, and Katy Perry, so they are the #1 hit producers. And Rick Simpson, the producer for all the Coldplay stuff. And the song Adventure of a Lifetime was the first single of the album. Let's go to the guitars. Jonny Buckland is well known for playing Fender Telecaster thin-line models. And here you see him with one. And these Telecaster thin-line guitars have two humbucker pickups, semi-hollow body, and a 6-saddle bridge. Here's a picture where you see the whole guitar. It's a 70s style tele. You see the F-hole, and he uses different one. I found out he has a 72 natural, 74 sunburst, a 77 black, and a 74 walnut guitar. And they are all painted, and he put some stickers on. So for the many colored Coldplay style that they use on stage and for their videos. And he also plays Jazzmaster and Stratocaster guitars. That's why I'm playing for the video a Strat, because I saw him playing the song in a recording for BBC One where he plays a Strat. And but there are also videos on YouTube where he plays live with a Telecaster, plays this song with a Telecaster. Amps and cabs, very simple setup. He uses Fender Hot Rod DeVille models, the working man guitar amp, great platform for pedals, 60-watt amp, and he has the one with two 12-inch speakers. These Fender Hot Rod DeVilles you can use a drive channel on that, but I think the most guitar players don't use that. And it's great when you adjust the clean sound and you make all the distortion and overdrive sounds with pedals. It's really a great pedal platform. And here you see him with the two in the back. Pedals. There are many pedals that he uses. I found a picture of his pedal board where he uses a Micropork, Line 6 DL4, the Red, TS9, an HBE power, two HBE power screamers, Phase 90, DD5 delay, and a Roger Mayer limiter. So here's the picture. And I don't really know what that pedal on the left is, but yeah, maybe somebody knows it and write a comment below this video. So another thing is he uses rack effects also. Very nice tuner, two tuners on the rack mounted, and two TC 2290 delays, two Line 6 Echo Pro, and all the way down there is an Eventide H7600. So as you see, there is really a lot he's using, and I couldn't find out what he used to record the sound of the intro of Adventure of a Lifetime. So it was just for me research by ear and trial and error. So let's go to the rig manager. What do you think, Tom, when you listen to the sound?
I would say maybe even the tone pot closed a little bit. Definitely low on the treble on the amp. Some gain, a compressor, and most probably something like a fuzz. And of course, reverb and delay to make this thing well, it's a little bit Robert Fripp-esque, the whole approach, I would guess, from what we know from Heroes, to create more like an organ synthesizer tone, long-standing, sustaining situation with the guitar. So that would be my guess. So that's how I would approach it.
In the intro, he don't really needs that long sustain, but it's because he plays fast notes. But so here just is a soloed guitar tone. So that's the tone, and
Sorry.
no problem. I switch over to the rig manager. Give you a short pause. Okay, so here we are. You find that sound, that tone in the Kemper Legends Tribute Collection 1, 2, 3. Jonny Buckland, John Buck. Here it is, and this is the signal chain. Compressor, you were right. A muffin. So
Big Muff.
Big Muff, the old Big Muff in the Kemper Profiler, and this is one. I think it's between a fuzz and a distortion pedal. Some people call it a fuzz, some people call it a distortion. So yeah, call it what you want, but it makes that typical dense, distorted sound. And the Studio EQ The serial 2-tap delay is not on. I tried something with that, but I didn't like it that way. So I only use Ionosphere reverb and a natural reverb. So 2 reverb units. And yeah, let's break it down all the way, starting with the amp. And I've just put the cover off. So we are here. I can play normal guitar chords. And yeah, you heard it. This is the amp. The amp is a Fender Bandmister from Michael Britt's rig pack. And here are the settings. Not much gain, just for, yeah, it's a bit before breakups, so it's clean, but if you pick the strings hard, you get a slightly overdriven tone. So that one, and EQ a little bit, middle and treble and presence turned up, just quite a bit. Then the EQ, studio EQ, just to match to the speaker's frequency range, high cut at 8 and low cut at 83 Hertz, and a little bit of cut, -7 dB, so not really much, at the at 4K. So nothing fancy on that one. Then we have the reverb, a natural reverb. So I would say big room, 2.4 seconds decay time, really low mix level at 22%, no pre-delay, and a big room, 10, the room size on 10, and a really, yeah, much high cut on that. So it's at 1.5K. I will show you when the high cut is not on. This is the sound. You get a really brilliant sounding reverb, but with a high cut at 1.5, that area, you get a warmer sounding reverb, which is, yeah, more in the background. So you can have a higher amount of effect signal, which doesn't compete with a direct guitar signal or getting muddy in a certain way. So the next thing is the compressor. Compressor helps me to yeah, let the lower picked notes or the softer picked notes stay out and have bring them on a certain level. So I will show you first the heavy picked notes. Now with the compressor. No, not much difference. So the heavy picked notes are at the same level. Now the softer picked notes. Now they are a little bit boosted, so that I can play for the worst part maybe. Just to get this, yeah, smooth tone by soft picking. But this is the problem when you don't have a compressor. You yeah, you lose the level, and it doesn't really can be heard in the band context. So a compressor with that setting, intensity at 5, attack 6.4, squash at 1.6, and a mix level at 65%, so that you have a quite a bit amount of original signal and not too compressed, but it's boosting and sounding natural for me. Okay, so this is the basic sound, the basic clean sound, and now the muffin. And again with a capo, because I don't have these long fingers to play that without capo. And I'm using the combination of bridge and middle pickup. So this is the sound, the basic sound for the intro. And yeah, have a look at the muffin settings. We have drive at 3.5, so not really much, but for a big muff, you don't need much drive because it's really getting very early distorted and overdriven. And then the thing you mentioned at the beginning, the tone. I don't cut the high frequencies with a pot on the guitar. I cut it at the muff. Mm-hmm. You hear it here. It's getting muffy and really, really a warm, overdriven tone. And very interesting. I've just checked out the muff with a setting with mix at 100%. Mm-hmm. And for me, that was too much. So that sounds like this one. Quite, it's interesting. So you have 18% between Santana and Coldplay.
And 10 times, 100 times more in budget for him to achieve the same sound.
Yeah. For me, it was important to have this direct signal to get this attack feeling. So more attack and not, I will say metal feeling or alternative rock feeling when you turn on the mix level at 100% on the muffin. So this is quite a good compromise here at 82%. You get the distorted sound, and you get these direct first attacks of the sound and a more transparent tone on that one. So if you're looking for high gain sounds, check out the mix level on the overdrive or distortion units on the Kemper profiler, because they really make a huge difference when you just turn them a little bit down and you get a more transparent sound, but having all the overdrive, and sometimes you can even use more drive on the pedal when you mix that with the original direct signal.
Yeah, that's a good thought. I will look into this later, because that's pretty interesting. Because usually with the fuzzes and the muff, you lose the chunk, the definition of your attack. They have great distorted tones. They are very full and rich, but they have if you're not into that style, a very annoying attack. It's always and this way it could be that if you use them on a very highly defined modern boutique amp with high gain settings, where you get the junk, but then you add the long tail with the full round distorted tone to this. That might be pretty interesting. I need to give it a try afterwards.
Yeah, of course. And the last one is this guy. To complete this sound, it's the Ionosphere reverb. And this is something, I would say the cream on the cake. So this is the sound without the Ionosphere. Now with. As you can hear, it's a bit, more sparkly, more brilliant, the reverb. And the reason why is the Ionosphere reverb is a pitch shifting reverb. And that means some kind of shimmer reverb. Some people say shimmer reverb from those U2 shimmer sounds. And we have here voice 1 and voice 2, the pitches. It's 12 half steps, so 1 octave up. And the attack time is really low, 0.12 seconds. Decay time at 4 seconds, so long, quite long. And the mix level at 24%. And the pitch mix level is at 26. So I will show you when I turn the pitch mix all the way up. Get this tiny squeaky sound. So this is, so for my opinion, this is too much for that sound. Turning back to 26. Here's 26. You get this one. So this is just a little bit of shimmer in the background. And there's also a high cut at 1/6, so that when I turn that up, you hear? It's too much high frequency, so it's just a little bit. And now, yeah, this is the sound. Without. So that makes a huge difference.
Indeed. Wow.
Yeah. And just not only when you play it solo, the guitar, in the whole band context, it adds this high frequency sound. You don't really need much more. I think for the video I've just used piano, e-piano, and nothing else, no synths or something like that, to recreate this intro, song intro. And these are the small things that makes a cool sound even cooler and better. Yeah, so
yeah,
that's all from my side.
But again, that's some basic in terms of ground laying, defining wisdom, that sometimes the how would you call it, the things you put around the tone make all the difference, and not just the basic M tone as well. But that's the point where there's the blurry line between guitar playing, arranging guitars for songs and coming up with the sounds and the tones, and then in the production and producer realm, where, well, basically we all step into these days more and more, or have to, because when you're playing an instrument and you want to record and stuff, it's always important to have an idea or a vision of how to place it within everything else, and how to separate it, or where it fits into the picture and stuff like that. So very important information, and very, very good tips and tricks for this.
But also, as I said in the beginning, top 40 guitar players, all the singers are used to have these sounds behind them. And they are sometimes, I found out they are really confused when they don't hear, they maybe hear the line, but they don't hear this particular sound. So it's very important for guitar players these days to watch or listen to the sounds and get used to recreate this stuff. Not only for the creative purpose, so that you're working in the studio and creating some new songs. There also you need these cut out tones. Nobody these days in a modern pop production wants to have an old school guitar tone that we all love, of course. But they need something that cuts out, because there is so much, and you can do so much. It's really interesting. So this is Jonny Buckland is the guy, and some others too. So The Edge from U2 or Matt Bellamy from Muse. They are using all these really fancy tones, and they don't give a shit about old school stuff or something like that. They love that, yeah. But taking it further, and maybe, I don't really know, if the great Jimi Hendrix would be today, I really don't want to know how he would sound like. So he definitely do not sound like The Wind Cries Mary or something like that.
Yes, most probably. And that's an interesting question, but unfortunately, as far as we know, with boarding devices, with onboard devices, we can't find out yet. But no, you're saying something very, very important there, because there's always the expectation of the audience, and it depends on, because there are cover bands or tribute bands who generally do their own versions of well-known songs. That's fine, because then the audience gets the song and the very distinctive special flavor of that band. Or the more expensive these cover bands get, the more authentic they try to become. And then it's even more important, because when you have basically the backing tracks sounding really like the original, and then the singers doing something different, because the small changes away from the original then become much more obvious than if it's a completely different thing. And so to give them the most possible anchors to the original for intonation and where things happen is really important then, and makes a big difference to make it easier for the singers.
Yeah, definitely.
Because that's something I don't know if it's just me, or if you noticed this as well, when the singing is close but not in terms of pronunciation or phrasing, then okay, that's the song, and even the tones are there. The intonation is fine, but when the phrasing and the pronunciation is off, it's a little bit weird then.
I think it's a really hard job to play covers, especially for the singer. You need to decide, do I want to go right into the original, or do I want to make my own version? Make your own version, you're definitely not so much comparable, because everybody knows, okay, this is, let's say, Joe Cocker, and he sings with a little help from my friends, but he sings it different, and that's totally okay, because it's his style. Yeah. And for the tribute bands, it's definitely hard, because you will be compared to this original. And yeah, I can't sing that good, so I won't do that either. But it's really hard, and it's something that you need to choose. And for the whole band also, it doesn't really sound good if the band plays the original version with all the perfect sounds and everything, and the singer tries to make his own version. So they need to check everything out, because I heard a really much cover versions of songs from cover bands played beside the original version, and that's totally okay. So in the next episode, we talk about a cover version, which became a lot, much more famous than the original version. So, and for my opinion, the cover version is definitely twice or much more than as good as the original. But you need the original and the great songwriting.
Yes, of course. And yeah, so looking forward to the next one then. But also this one here has been pretty eye-opening and inspiring. So thanks again, Thomas, and see you next time with that famous cover, this famous yet unmentioned cover version. Bye.
Bye.